Hello guys, welcome back to my class. In the previous lessons, I have shown you two user-defined types, which are typedef and enum. And this typedef is used when you would like to give a new name to the data type. Meanwhile, the enum type is used when you would like to customize your own data type with a list of items inside the customized type. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to show you the last user-defined type, which is structure or record. So what is structure? Structure is basically a collection of a fixed number of components, and it is accessed by a single name. And the components can be formed by different data types such as the char, integer, string, float, and others. And this component here, we call this as a member. Okay, in the previous lesson 10 array, we have an array to store multiple data, but all the stored data must be from the same data type. However, in this structure, it is able to store the data from multiple data types. Okay, so here is the general syntax of a structure. Start with the struct struct followed by your structure name. Make sure that the name here follow the rules of identifier, and also it is meaningful. Alright, then within these braces here, there are a list of the data members, and each one is specified with a type and a valid identifier as its names. Okay, we have a types and then we have identifiers. Okay, so now given these situations, you would like to store some properties of student in your class, and there are 6 properties or 6 members. Alright, which are the first name, last name, course grade, test score, programming score, and GPA. Alright, so in conventional way, we have to declare 6 variables with appropriate type to store all these values. Right, we have this first type, this first name, we use char, and char, the integer, and so on. Alright, so this is conventional way. So we did the same thing for student 2 as well as student 3. Okay, the properties are still the same. Just the only difference here is you have to change the variable name here a little bit different to differentiate which variable belongs to student 1 and which variable belongs to student 2 as well as for student 3. Here, that's why I changed here name 1. Okay, name 1, name 2, name 2 to differentiate. Alright, so my question is, how about if let's say you have 50 students or even you have 200 students in your class, which means that you have to create 1000 over variables in your program. This is insane and very hard to manage, especially you would like to read the value or you would like to store the value in a specific variable. Okay, so basically in the C++, we have a better way to store the values or data from different data types. We call it as a structure or record. Alright, just follow the syntax that I show you in the slide 4 just now. Okay, so in the previous case, in the conventional method, I have to declare a 6 variable per student and then another 6 variable for student 2. But in this structure, basically I just need to declare one time. So in this case, I give a name as student type, and in this new customized data type here, it consists of a list of members that form from different data type, which are the first name, last name, okay, grade, test score, programming score, and GPA. Alright, so this is structure declarations. I just need to declare once compared to the conventional way. I need to declare every time 6 properties, 6 members for each student. Now no need, I just declare one time. Then I move on to variable declaration using this data type, student type, and this is how it looks like. Now my student 1 consists of these 6 members, student 2 consists of these 6 members also. Okay, so now I will show you the example. Okay, look at the coding here. Okay, so this is how I declare my variables. Okay, structure student type, and then I have a 6 members, and then inside here I just need to declare my variable student1, student2 using the customized type that I declared just now, student type. I use this as my data type now. Alright. Now move on to the next one, how to access the structure members. Okay, to read or to store the value into the members of this structure is pretty simple. You just need to indicate the structure variable name followed by the dot here. Okay, this dot is very important. Okay, and your member name. This dot is used to call the member name. Alright, so recall the case in the previous slide. Let's say I would like to assign, okay, here in the previous case. So let's say I would like to assign 98. I assign the value 98 to the test score for the student 1. Okay, so I just need to follow this syntax. What is your variable name? Student 1. Next step, put a dot. And then you put your member name. Then equal to 98. So this 98 will be assigned to the test score for this student 1. Okay, so same as the example here, I'm going to assign the grade B to this member under this student 1. I would like to assign this 100 for the test score for student 1. Okay, I'm going to read the GPA for student 2. I'm going to display the last name for student 2. Okay, and this is how it looks like in the coding part. Okay, I assign B for the course grade for student 1, 100 for student 1, and so on. So I run the program. Okay, so this is how it looks like. See out because I display. See out student 1 course grade is equal to B, yes. I display student 1 test score equal to 100, yes. Now I'm waiting for the user input. So what is the GPA? 3.98 is a good student. So when I press enter, so it will display see out the GPA for student 2. Right, it's pretty simple. Okay, so student, you just need to take note here. If let's say you would like to assign a string, okay, into a C string, we cannot directly assign into the member. In the previous case, in this example, okay, you can assign the char, you can assign the value. But if let's say you would like to assign the string, in this case Dennis, directly into the first name for the student 1, it is invalid. It will show you the error. Okay, to solve this one, you have to use the predefined function for the C string known as string copy. So this one I have covered in the lesson 7. If you want to know more information, please go back to the lesson 7. Okay, strcpy to copy this Dennis into the first name for the student 1. Okay, so look at this example. Now I would like to assign this Dennis, okay, directly into the first name for the student 1. See what happened. Yeah, it will show me the error. It's an invalid. So instead of you assign directly, I use a string copy. Okay, I have to use string copy. So since you are using this predefined function string copy, make sure that you include this C string header file. Okay, because this string copy is under this C string header file. Okay, now I will run again. Yes, it works. So maybe I see out. See out. Student 1. Yes, Dennis. It works. You have to use string copy instead of you assign directly into the members. Let's say you are using the C string. Okay. So to initialize the value to the members, so you can use the technique that I show you in the array. chapter 10, where you need to include these braces and also the comma. Alright, so if let's say you initialize with this method, so this C++ will automatically assign this lily to the first member, N second member, A third member, 70 fourth member, 88 fifth member, and 3.2 to the last member. Okay, so you have another way, okay, where you can just assign one by one, just like what I've shown you in the previous slide. You assign manually, okay, Lily into the first name, last name, and so on, one by one. Okay, so you can also copy the value of one structure variable into another as long as the type is the same. This is the only condition. Okay, you make sure that student 1, the type for the student 1 is same for the student 2. So if let's say you assign student 2 to student 1, basically you copy the contents of student 2 into student 1. So this statement here is basically same like this one. You're assigning this member to these members from student 2 to student 1, as well as the last name and so on. Okay, basically the same meaning. Yeah, copy the entire record from student 2 into student 1, given that both are having the same types, same data types. Alright, now we move on to a more advanced topic, okay, in this structure, which is the structure array and array structure. Okay, so let's move on to the array structure first. Okay, so array structure means that you have an array in structure. Okay, so in this example, we have a structure known as the list type. Okay, and this list type storing two very important informations, or storing two important members, which are the list code and the list link. The list link here, you can think that is to count the total number in a storeroom in a supermarket. Okay, and this structure is basically consists of a 1000 list code here. The list code here, you can think that it's actually a code for each of the item. All right, and each of the item here are represented by the code, and this code are represented by the integer data type. Okay, this is basically an array. All right, so then you declare this integer list, your variable, using this list type. And basically you can think that these situations is represented by this diagram. Okay, you have array, list code. All right, under this variable integer list, and this integer list is having the list type data type that you declared just now. Yeah, inside this list type you have two members, which are the list code and the list length. And this list code is actually an array. Okay, consists of 1000 items. All right, so to operate the array structure is basically same like what we did in the normal structure case. So always remember the syntax: structure variable name dot and your member name. All right, so look at the coding here. Okay, so we have a structure. Inside a structure, one of our member is an array, so we call this as array structure because we have an array inside a structure. Okay, look at this example. We are actually assigning a value 0 in this member. Okay, look at this line 20. We are assigning a value 12 to the first element, this code of this array. We are assigning this 12 inside this array. All right, first element for this array under this variable name integer list. All right, now for line 22, we are increasing the second element. This is index 1, index 1 represented by second element. We are increasing the second element of this array member list code by 5. Okay, so also since this is an array, so if let's say you want to read the value for each of the array, then you have to use for loop, which we cover in the array chapters If you want to know more information, please go back to the lesson 10. Alright, so same as the display one. If let's say you want to display the particular element, so indicate the index value for the particular for this array. Okay, integer list code. Okay, now we are having another situation here. I'll call it as structure in array. Okay, in the previous case we have array in structure. In this case, structure in array, different things are. So in this case, basically each array element is actually a structure. Okay, just like this case, we are having these 50 employees in a company. All right, and then we need to store or record down each employee details such as the first name, last name, ID, salary, bonus, and so on. And all of these records are applicable and same to all the 50 employees in that particular company. So to declare the structure in array, we need to include the size of the array during the variable declaration here, where employee 50, just like normal array declarations. Alright, and then you need to include the data type. This is your customized data type, employee type. Include the 8 members here. Alright, and you can think this is how it works, represented by the diagrams. We have 50 employees, can be represented by the array, and each element here, okay, is actually a structure. Each array here consists of these 8 properties, 8 members. Okay, so again, how to assign the value to the members in structure array? So it's basically same like the normal structure case. So just remember again the syntax: structure variable name dot member name. Okay, so since your variable name is an array, so you have to indicate the index number after the variable name. So for instance, in the first case, alright, so in the first case, we would like to assign this IT 999 into the department ID for the first employee. Therefore, we use the index 0. So same in this case, we are assigning 1,200 to the monthly salary for the employee number 12. Okay, we are assigning 84,500 to the year to date paid for the last employee, and so on. Remember, you need to indicate the index since this is an array. So in certain case, we have a structure in another structure. We know it as a nested structure variable. So look at these examples. Okay, we have these 22 members in one structure known as employee type. If you look carefully, the string first, middle, last, actually we can group them as one category. Same as this address 1, address 2, city, state, zip. Actually they are having the same attribute. You can group them together. Same like this higher month, higher day, year, month, day, year. Okay, you can group them together, as well as the last one, phone, cell phone, fax, okay, page, email, department. You can group them together. Okay, if let's say I group them together, I restructure them, and this is how it look like. I group them together. Actually, I can restructure them, and finally, I can reduce the 22 members into the 8 members, which is more organized and easy to manage. Okay, now we come to how to declare the variable using this nested structure, known as the new employee. So remember this name type here, the name types, the address, the date type, contact type are actually another structure which consists of variables that are shown in this figure. Okay, and this picture clearly shows that how it works, how it looks like when we are having this nested structure. We can say that in this new employee variable, there are 8 members, which are name, employee ID, address, hire date, quit date, contact, department ID, salary. And each of the members here, for the member name, it consists of another 3 members, first, middle, last. Meanwhile, for the address, it consists of 5 members, address 1, 2, city, state, zip, and so on. Okay, this is nested structure. We have a structure within a structure. Okay, so to assign the value or to read the value into or from the member in the nested structure, again, you just need to remember this syntax: outer structure variable name dot inner structure variable name dot member name. Okay, this is first is your member name. This name here, this whole row is your inner structure variable name, and your new employee is your outer variable name. Okay. So now, example, we would like to assign the John, okay, to the first name. Alright, so I need to integrate John. Okay, I would like to copy John to the first members for this name variable under this new employee. Alright, same as this one. I am assigning this 53300 into the zip member for this address variable under this new employee. Okay, I'm reading the month member from this higher date variable under this new employee variables, as well as to read out, see out, same. Make sure that you follow the syntax. Okay, this is pretty simple, right? Okay, now we move on to our last section in this chapter, which is the relationship between the function and also the structure. So let's start with the passing individual elements of the structure from one function to another. So in this case, for the actual argument, you have to specify the variable name, okay, of the individual member in the structure, such as the name. Okay, then you put s.name, indicate that these members under this structure. Okay, and then you pass this actual argument to this formal argument. Okay, and this formal argument must follow the types of the particular individual member, which is string in this case. So in this particular members, you are having this string data type. So the string here, you must follow the types here. Okay, so these functions will receive only a members which is in the string type from the main function. Okay, this is passing individual elements. But in normal case, we will just receive the whole structure instead of individual element from a structure. We call it as a pass the whole structure. In this case, the actual arguments here will be the variable name of the structure without stating the member name, not required, because you are going to pass the whole structure. So you just indicate the name for the variable s, okay, s here. Then you pass to this formal argument. So in this formal argument, again, you just need to follow the types of your structure, which is students. Alright, so this one is pretty straightforward compared to the individual one. You don't need to state the member name, because you are going to pass the whole structure. Also, you receive the whole structure. Alright, so we move on to more advanced ones, okay, which is the structure array and functions. So how are we going to pass the whole structure array from one function to another? So in this structure arrays, means that we are having this structure in this particular array, and the actual argument for this structure array, okay, will be the name of the array without the bracket, because it is understood that we are passing the whole array to these functions. Okay, if you like to pass the whole structure array, you don't need to put a bracket. It is understood that you are going to pass the whole structure array to these formal arguments. Meanwhile, in the formal parameters, you have to state clearly the type of the array name, and also the bracket to indicate that we are receiving an array from the main functions. Okay, you have to make sure that you have to include this bracket for the formal parameter, but for the actual parameter, you don't need to put a bracket. Okay, So for the operation and the assignment in this function is just like what I've shown you in the slide 17. Okay, you have to indicate the array name, the index, and also the dot, and then the member. Okay. So the last one, if let's say you want to pass only a single member of the particular structure array, so in your actual argument, you just need to follow the syntax of individual element in the structure of array, which is the name, index, dot, and your member name that you're going to pass. This indicates the individual elements is going to pass to these functions. And in the formal argument, it's just like a normal formal arguments that receive a single variable from a function. So just the important note here is the type. The type here must follow the type in the structure here, double. Okay, you just want to receive this particular member. Okay, so you have to indicate very clear what is the data type for the particular member. Okay, so that's all for this video. So you have learned the 3 user-defined types, which are the type def, enums, and also in the previous lesson, and also in this video you learned about the structure. So I will see you in the next lesson. Okay, bye.